This is Ken Pyle at the Broadband Community Summit. We're with Rick Usher, Assistant City Manager of Kansas City, Missouri. Rick, you've been talking a little bit about the Google Fiber project and what you guys have done, and why don't you tell us what you guys have done? It's revolutionary the way you're working with entities to make broadband happen in your community.
Well, thank you for having me, and I'm enjoying being here at this conference. But yeah, in Kansas City, Missouri, we've been really excited by the Google Fiber offering. When we submitted our response, we had huge community support, and mainly started by our entrepreneurial community. And we're really excited by the offering. Gigabit speed, it's symmetric, gigabit up, gigabit down, and they're looking at connecting economically distressed neighborhoods. Like we just saw in this panel talking about healthcare and providing on telemedicine, that a good number of those customers are not connected now. So we're working with different organizations around the city to make sure we can connect all of our residents.
Well, and it's interesting because I heard Milo Medin speak at about a month ago, and one of the things he said is we're not taking the traditional approach where we're targeting neighborhoods. We're letting the neighborhoods target themselves and really step up and become a fiberhood.
Yeah, that method of creating demand has been, I think, overall positive. You saw school principals, church leaders, civic leaders, neighborhood leaders going door to door with Google staff to convince residents of the benefits of joining this project. So it's been really positive, and we're looking forward now as houses are now actually being hooked up. We've had all this enthusiasm with just very few houses being connected yet, and then this year we're going to see connections being made, more and more usage being made of the network.
Well, with that grassroots approach, does it kind of get around the quote-unquote redlining that you'd hear, say, 20 years ago then, since it's being done on the neighborhood basis?
Yeah, we're seeing much more inclusiveness in Kansas City. Aaron Deacon, who is now leading our KC Digital Drive effort, launched a crowdfunding campaign to provide the $10 sign-up fee for residents throughout our urban neighborhoods, and the challenge there was that you had to have a credit card, you had to have internet access to sign up, and residents in these economically distressed neighborhoods really didn't have that. So it was a real quick learning curve for the Google Fiber team and groups throughout the city to come together and really get those sign-ups to happen.
Well, that's terrific. And what about the impact? You kind of mentioned it, that you're seeing as far as some of the education and the health applications.
We're really creating, it's really kind of an awakening in the community now that we can share and collaborate more online. We have events now kind of throughout the city, hackathons they call them, that the tech entrepreneurs meet, and it started with this like startup weekend events where you bring 60 or 100 people together, and then everybody kind of tries to form a business in 3 days over a weekend. Those now are all focusing on how to really capitalize on being a gigabit city.
And so the revolution just isn't the bandwidth, which is really huge, but it seems like the way the city of Kansas City is working with Google is revolutionary. I don't know if you can talk to some of those things that you guys are doing that are different.
Well, what we've been impressed with Google is how they've really become part of our community, and they're working with groups throughout the city. They hired Rachel Hack, who has been in the Kansas City tech community for years as their community coordinator and community manager, and we're still working with educational institutions and public schools to really ramp this up so that kids not only have internet access at home and at school, but they have a device, a Chromebook or some other device. One organization that is really doing some great stuff is called Connecting for Good. Okay. They are refurbishing computers, making them really like $100 with a $50 coupon. So okay, for $50, low-income families can get a computer. And then they've also decided to become their own ISP, and they're providing Wi-Fi access free of charge to residents of low and moderate income housing projects throughout the city.
Now, is that Google or is this the Connect?
No, this is Connecting for Good,
Okay.
and it's an effort that was really came to light or began because of the Google Fiber project happening in the city, and it's a digital inclusion effort. Google has their $300 free service program, $300 for the connection, and then 7 years of free service. But even that, in some households, has been a major hurdle. So Connecting for Good stepped in with these programs. They're also providing digital literacy training, and they're a bi-state initiative. In Kansas City, we have Kansas and Missouri, in addition to dozens of suburbs, and they're really working beyond the geography and the city limit lines.
Really to create kind of a regional economic development approach, I suppose.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that I think we're realizing is that internet speeds are directly tied to the economic activity in the city, and this is a huge opportunity for home-based businesses, and finding employment, educating your kids, and education, employment, all of those are basic keys to economic development, and then starting businesses on top of that is opportunities we're looking for.
And from just the construction aspects of it, I was really impressed with how quickly it's getting done and some of the techniques that they've used and that you've used with them. Can you talk to any of that?
Like other large, multi-million-dollar projects that might come to Kansas City, we recognize the fact that these companies, and in this case Google, see the value of investing in Kansas City and in our citizens. So we put together programs to really create communication and collaboration between our regulatory agencies and, in this case again, Google being the builder, in order to try to expedite construction. The methodologies used so far, I think, are not really revolutionary for the fiber industry, but I think what is revolutionary is the scale of this project. To come into the market as an overbuilder and try to serve as many people as they are is something we're happy to try to assist with.
Well, great, and it sounds like it's already making an impact on your community. So, congratulations on everything that's going on.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.